Hi, this is Tom Jacobs from tdjacobs.com and also healingsuicide.com. And I want to do a quick video on who is the Lilith Retreat for? Or this work is for you if, just to make it more obvious and relevant. I've done a ton of work on Lilith the last about 20 years. In 2004 is when I dug in, and 2008 I started coming out with material on it. Um, but my approach begins, contrary to other people's approaches, not that Lilith is the mother of all demons or should be feared, but is an archetypal part of us, a part of our psyche that seeks expression naturally. I always talk about myth and mythology as social instruction, while archetype is the thread of the human consciousness that exists within us. So it's kind of like how to be a good member of society is a myth issue. A group telling its members, do this, don't do that. That's myth and mythology. The archetype is how you naturally seek to express things. So we can't be forever controlled by social instruction. So who is the Lilith Healing Retreat for? By the way, it's October 10th through 13th, 2024 in Sedona, Arizona. Who is it for? Who benefits? Anybody who's lived in a human body over the last 6,000 years is benefited from this, because we can't hold back the need for our natural psychological, emotional, spiritual expression, the archetypal threads of Lilith's stories. We can't suppress that forever, but many of us have spent a great deal of effort to try to do so in order to be safe, to be supported, to be loved, to be accepted, to feel part of a group, to not be on our own in the wilderness, as Lilith at one point found herself. So anybody who has experienced difficulty with suppression of instinct, being told how they should relate to their bodies, including regarding healthcare, including reproductive rights. Anybody who's been told they should eat something their body doesn't want, or they can't eat something their body needs. Let's say somebody grows up in a vegetarian family and their body craves meat, or vice versa. Growing up in a carnivore family or omnivore family, and the body does not want animal protein, animal flesh. Anybody who's experienced sexual violence or has felt controlled regarding sexuality or relationships. Anybody who's been coerced into being a certain way or threatened. We won't support you if you pursue this path. Anybody who feels controlled or has gone through suppression. Because healthy Lilith, this archetypal thread, when healthy, is to operate according to instinct, to develop an inner awareness of the wisdom of the natural world as it exists in the root chakra, the first chakra. Now, this is a pre-verbal place. The root chakra doesn't have a lot of words. It's activated at birth, and your imprint from family system and cultural conditioning, the original imprint, is in the root chakra. So you emerge as a squirming, helpless, clueless baby. You're imprinted with certain feelings, ideas, and attitudes and energies. And as you grow up, you hear words associated with them, but at first it's just a feeling. So we're coming slowly out of about 6,000 years of imbalance between, it's actually the elevation of the masculine to try to control our lives and be productive, which necessitates the diminishment of the feminine. So anybody who's lived through that, any part of the timeline in the last 6,000 years, whether man or woman, whatever gender identity, whatever sexuality, why am I blanking on that word? Sexual orientation. So it's like, what is that phrase? Anybody who has needed to go his or her or their own way, but felt controlled. So because what we're trying to do with patriarchy is control things to provide us with safety. We essentially, as a collective, decided to experiment with trying to manage and control things instead of letting our Mother Nature, the earth, just be whimsical. And eventually we didn't feel safe, and we needed to assert that we deserve better. And so we elevated the masculine doing principle, and in the process naturally diminished the feminine being principle. When I say masculine and feminine in terms of this work, if you're not familiar with how I think of it, go back to a few videos ago about, I think it's called on the patriarchal masculine versus divine masculine. Go check that out, because each of us has a balance of masculine and feminine energies within us, orientation, pipes, identity aside. So who is this for? It's for anybody who has been through the ringer of patriarchy, anybody who doesn't trust their own bodies, anybody who's been told who they should be, but really needs to embrace who they truly are. And anybody with imbalanced relationship issues regarding sexuality or power control abuse, any of those things. Anybody who grew up in a community that said you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that, even though it's natural for you. Anybody who experiences shame at what the body does, dread at what the body naturally does. Anybody who's been harmed in any way through making choices regarding sexuality or having others making choices upon one or for one. So Lilith is a healing for the globe, but it happens on an individual basis. Many Lilith people, and from what I'm talking about now, you may understand you are a Lilith person. You know, I'm an astrologer, but it's not only astrology that determines that. How closely do you feel to the myth and the archetype? And I have tons of videos on Lilith that you can watch and get a handle on those, the difference there. But if you don't trust yourself because the world told you not to, if you're not sure what your body needs regarding food, touch, and everything else, because you can't hear it because of trauma for some reason, or you just don't trust it, then the Lilith Healing Retreat is for you. So as I said, the work is individual, and we're going to gather 6 people together. I'm going to gather 6 people together and create a container for individual work, but also group support and to work through things. Anywhere in this process or this history that a person might be, everybody's welcome to come in, and we're going to talk and tell stories and do energy work. We're going to hang out at a couple of vortices or vortexes and adjust our energy to the energy of the earth and learn more about being in our bodies. So October 10th through 13th, 2024, a deposit holds your spot. Again, it's in Sedona, Arizona. And email me with questions and check out the links, the link to the event page on my site, and also the Loving Lilith: An End to Shame home study course is a prerequisite, so you can understand. Because if you get that course and start working through it, and you're like, I don't like this guy's approach, you won't like the retreat. Because if you need Lilith to be evil, you won't be happy with my work. Because for me, it's about wholeness and integration and healing. So check all that out, and at tdjacobs.com, you can read about all the rest of my work. Take care, and I'm looking forward to working with you. Bye-bye.